Twice. Okay.
Yeah, hit it twice.
Just your first time.
No.
Don't be afraid to hit it.
Son. Hit that like the angry hand of God. Good morning, boys. How are you?
Morning.
Good.
Good.
Have we all recovered from Thanksgiving? Chuck, you were like out of pocket. Were you deep in the brown liquor over Friday, recovering?
No.
He was a little salty in our Discord yesterday.
I was.
See, T.O.'s nodding his head.
I don't even remember being in the. I don't even remember being in the
these two,
Discord yesterday.
If I do it this way, it doesn't matter which one I point at. These two are always salty. These two are always at each other. It's like
we're not at each other. We're brothers, man.
No,
we can argue.
We love each other. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about because I was hardly in the Discord yesterday.
I mentioned we were at this antenna stock, and you're like, I got other things I've got to do.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
Calm down, Papa.
You guys want to let's put a flash sale on today, and don't tell Chuck that we're going to do it, and he won't have any supplies. I mean,
oh yeah, we sold a ton yesterday. Get them while they're hot, boys.
So now Chuck's on catch up. That's all.
Good morning, Andy. We're taking delivery of new inventory, but
there we go.
Might run out before the sale runs out.
Right. Now we got.
I've got inventory, so
if you missed yesterday's TO 3.5 hour Black Friday live stream, it was kind of epic. It was longer than the D-Star Nuggets, so there's that for a landmark.
No way.
We had a ton of giveaways. We had some awesome stuff going on.
I think it was a 3 hour and 45-minute show, something like that.
It was, yeah.
It was long. So we had a flash sale yesterday during TO's Black Friday stream, and if you didn't watch it or didn't take advantage of it, it's gone now.
Some of y'all did. Congratulations. Got yourself a deal. $25 off too.
Yep. We still have $10 off of each and every antenna, and all the antennas are in stock at coffeeandhamradios.com. And this sale ends on the 30th, which I think is tomorrow. I'm a little fuzzy.
No, the 30th is today.
30th is today. Oh, so you
look at that thing up in the corner of your screen there.
Okay.
It says the 30th.
You got midnight. You got till midnight.
And you got mail.
Don't
just let you know.
Don't chip chop. Thank you, Chuck. So $10 off of each and every Coffee and Ham Radio's antenna. We also are out of mugs. So if you missed out on the red mugs, your mug will not have a mug. There may or may not be more coming. That's to be determined yet. We're not entirely sure what the timing will be on that, if at all. Oh my God, I needed coffee. So Charles, what were you doing over Thanksgiving?
Kathy invited the family over. I had my daughter and her family, and
behind your
mom
back,
and my sister. Well, no, I knew.
Did they all show up at the door?
No. I knew. I cooked. In fact, we cooked 2 turkeys. We should have only cooked 1 because I didn't even carve up the second one.
That's how it always goes.
I smoked
Every
one.
Thanksgiving,
well, I didn't smoke it, but
world.
I cooked it on the barbecue, and so I still have that one to cut up. I'm going to cut it up. We're going to freeze it, I guess, for now, because I still have. You know what happens? You have people bring hors d'oeuvres. My mom bought enough hors d'oeuvres for like 20 people, maybe 30 people. Let's say 30 people, and there was only 10 or 15 of us, right? Especially adults. There's only maybe 10 adults. Then my sister brings pies. I mean, like 3 or 4 different pies and desserts. And then she invited my my son-in-law's mom and her mom, and they brought stuff. So by the time we ate dinner, it's like everybody's like, I don't really feel like dinner, you know. But we ate anyhow. It was
so
good.
they were all at your house.
Yeah, and then
did you tell them not to
here.
kick any of the antenna parts because that's money?
Yeah, they're locked away. I lock them up when the kids are here.
The kids that grab the wire by a spool.
Actually, I'd love to hook those kids up because they got little bitty fingers. Some of those parts are really small to grab, you know.
Yeah,
can't try.
Nothing beats child labor.
No, I don't trust them yet.
They're
not old enough yet.
Well, it also could decrease the surplus population too, because those are small parts and they might taste them and choke on them. So
yeah, and they might be
so side benefit is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I just am pointing out.
He's also not denying it.
He was just thinking it.
Tio, what did you and Chris it was just you, right? None of your spawn were there, I assume.
No.
Yeah, we're at an RV resort. This is like the mini villages over here. There's a pretty cool group of people that come down here and spend the winter.
Snowbirds.
The snowbirds are all here, and so it was a bunch of grandparents without children or grandchildren having the Thanksgiving buffet.
I've never seen so many golf carts at a RV
Did
resort.
did y'all gather at the rec center there at the trailer park
Yep.
or what?
Yep, they couldn't walk the 50 feet from their trailer to the
Yep.
banquet hall.
was-
They had to get in the golf cart and drive.
And then all the walkers lined up outside because they made them leave them outside, right?
Yeah. I bring the average age down, and I'm
Yeah.
not that young myself. I mean, I'm young, but I'm not that young.
We just it was just the two of us. Macy didn't come over for Thanksgiving. She's at her
She
mom's, but we didn't cook. We just catered. I picked up a honey baked ham, and then she got some stuff from a local restaurant.
And what did you learn? Never to do that again.
I wasn't going to say it again, but yes, if you've never
Maybe
ever picked
earlier?
up not the day before Thanksgiving. Holy crap!
Like a
no.
month early.
He posted
There
a picture
was-
and it looked like it was free handouts or something.
I mean, I thought I was in line to get tickets to an REO
It ain't
concert
that
or
good.
something.
Yeah.
It is damn good, but
It's
I
good,
love
but it ain't that good.
I don't know. But
To
I'm not
buy
going to do
a
it
cured
again.
meat product the day before Thanksgiving dinner.
That was just poor planning.
That
on
would
my
have
part.
lasted like 6 months.
I
on the
didn't
counter.
realize what oh my Lord. Ne'er again.
Yes,
was
I don't know
my-
what happened, but Americans don't prepare anymore.
Well, I mean, it's just the two of us, and she still got more food. So she got dressing and gravy and some sides from a local restaurant down here that does home style country cooking, whatever you want to call it, regular food. And so we have enough of that. I'm going to be eating dressing and gravy with whatever I eat for a week, probably. I'm like, baby, there's
You know,
just
the
two
gravy
people here.
seals.
Yeah, the gravy seals. All my weight loss the last 6 months is going to go right down the pooper. Yeah, over
Exactly.
one weekend. But the ham is awesome. I got to say it's really good. I just need to plan better next time I do that.
It's
That's
got
the
all
first
the
time
four
I've
food
ever
groups: protein,
first time I've ever
sugar,
gotten one.
salt, pineapple.
No pineapple. I don't taste any pineapple.
Didn't they put no pineapple rings on the outside?
No,
Oh, not on honey bakes.
Mm-mm. No, Grandma did that all the time.
With the cloves holding them in place?
I guess,
Mhm.
yeah. But we had a good Thanksgiving. It's nice and peaceful. And, watched football and basketball, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And now we
Yeah,
have 3
same.
weeks until the big C hits. So
The big C.
Christmas. Did you guys
Mhm.
buy anything on Black Friday
I did,
Uh,
actually. But
for
not
you
because it
or
was Black
for your
Friday.
spouse? Just because it was cheap, right, Steve?
No,
I
I
bought
just needed some stuff for courtside
Oh.
when we go out to courtside with Chuck.
Yeah, I bought some stuff for my motorcycle because it was. I mean, I was looking at this tank bag for my motorcycle, and I already have one, but the one I have is not waterproof, and I've already run into where we've hit a storm and everything inside's soaking wet, So this company that makes really nice stuff, it's called Moscow Moto, but their stuff is super, super expensive, but it's really well made. It's like almost $300 for their for this tank bag. They had some that were like the sides were like a little. They caved in a little bit on the inside for $69, and I'm like, I'll take one of those. I'm going to buy one anyhow, so I might as well save money. Oh, I got who did I get at the Hawaii
Bjorn.
Parks?
Are you in Norway
No,
or Sweden?
Steve.
for
Yeah,
AFL.
Steve. I got him a couple. Yeah,
I think
We got
that's
that
Norway.
LB call. Yeah, it's Norway.
Should be Norway, right?
He's not a Swede yet. He might be on the border like our
He's
friend.
not the Swede, right? We
Right.
have the Swede
Right.
who lives in Norway, but
Bjorn, I'm
Hey,
sure you
Mike.
know about Morton LB0FI. We always call him the Swede because he always drives across the border to do parks on the air stuff.
from a different country. I mean, he's kind of showing off a little bit. I just got to say,
I wish I could
Oh.
do that.
put it in your own
Yeah.
country, son.
I mean,
It's
if I went
hours for me
across
to
the
go
border
to
to
any-
Mexico, I probably wouldn't come back.
Right. Yeah.
They got
No
all the
doubt.
good drugs down there.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
bought some stuff,
I
but
got
I
a
don't
friend
know
that
that
buys his drugs there. Well, I mean,
Oh,
medical
okay.
drugs, medications.
Medications. Chuck lives in California, so extrapolate from there which medication that probably is.
We
Well,
can
no,
buy
if
that legal.
he's doing, that's legal in California.
That's legal here.
Yeah, I
In
know.
a lot of states,
Oh,
actually.
that's true.
You might as well catch taxes off it, right?
I love how like a lot of federal laws are supreme law of the land and cannot be subverted, and then there's weed.
Yep.
Well, it's good for people. Some people need it,
Oh, no
That's-
disagreement.
Chuck,
The whole
20
history of
all the time
Yeah.
in the fire department and all the medical calls I went on, I never met a weed overdose ever. And the ones that I'm pretty sure
or
were on
unhappy
weed
one.
were totally cool.
unhappy. Yeah.
They're like, hey,
Ever seen
man,
an angry weed smoker?
I dropped this
No.
running chainsaw on
Never.
my ankle and I think it's disconnected. Can you hook it
And they're
back
laughing
up?
at you. Well, I have some
Cool,
drunks that
bro.
way too.
Hang on just a second.
I had a few drunks. Drunks were like, I had a guy that
Drunks
fell
will
off
go
a
either
wall,
way.
fell
Yeah.
off the wall, broke his freaking ankle. I mean, it was like nasty looking, right? I knew the kid. He was younger, a couple years younger than me. And he was the happiest person that looked terrible. I mean, his ankle looked so bad, but I guess it was a good thing for him. It was probably the reason he did that, because he was a pretty good athlete. So I don't think he would just fell off the wall to start with. But yeah,
Nice, Lee. Good find.
Lee, good pickup there, buddy.
I mean,
You
you would have
mean
saved
this-
more money had you bought a Nano, but that's beside the point.
The Stick Pro, I think, is what he means. He said Pro, so I think that means the Stick Pro. That's
I tell you
a
what,
cool one.
Yeah.
Ape
That's
was
got a
talking
great
how
display.
how portable the Nano was. It ain't as portable as that stick. That thing is
No.
sweet.
And the
If you're gonna
e-ink
go out and do
display
stuff.
on that stick is
You can read it.
full sunlight. I mean, full
I don't like the
California
color.
sunlight.
The color ones are the worst usually. Well, although
They're okay.
somebody had a newer color one. My buddy had an older
E-ink.
version, and you couldn't see it outside at all. But I've seen newer rig experts with the color that were better. So they must have fixed something.
Oh, the
I would-
worst
if
thing
I
is
was-
that the camera likes to focus on the reflection on the screen, not the
Man.
content of the screen. Like,
Every
it looks
time.
great to my eyes, but y'all can't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hard to record stuff on those things.
It is.
I spend more time getting the camera just set up, and sometimes if you stand behind it with a black shirt, that helps.
I mean, it's like
With nothing on
my
it.
glasses right now. That's why I tilt
Oh,
them
yeah.
up so y'all can see through them.
And see your beautiful
wanna
eyes.
see
I mean,
those
your
eyes.
eyes. Yeah, Stick Pro. That's what he said.
Marty's
Irish
here. I
eyes
haven't
are
seen-
smiling.
I haven't
And
seen
Don
Marty
said
in a
the
long
Nano
time.
is unreadable for
Yeah.
outdoor use. Yes, Don, that is correct.
Don's just grumpy. He can't
I
read
would
No,
his
say-
Don is right. Us old people
My,
need help.
my
anyway.
Nano's hard to read inside
Copy that.
in the shade
Because
because
it's
it's small.
tiny.
It's the little bitty one.
I love the. I had a Stick Pro, and it was great. I liked it.
You got rid of it?
But, well, I upgraded to the 1400
Oh,
when
gotcha.
Gigaparts knocked the 1400 down to like 450 from 8 or 900. I jumped
wow.
on it and I was like, okay, I don't need the Stick Pro, so I sold it to
Oh, I wish
somebody
I
in
wish
Discord
I
somewhere.
wish I had done that.
In fact, that was like 2 years ago. I don't know. I put it into for sale in Discord and it was gone pretty quick.
I tried to stay away from
Hey,
that.
good morning, Ken.
Oh yeah. So UTV and Ham, old Ken's got him a AA55 Zoom. Bought his own Christmas present. Way to go.
It's the best thing you can do. Tell your wife to buy what she wants for
Okay.
herself, and you buy what you want for
Right.
yourself, and no arguments.
I mean, that's kind of
My
what
wife
we do.
actually let
That's
me
what we
know
do.
something this year. She actually let me know something, or I listened well enough. Is what I get from her. Well, you just don't listen. I'm like, no.
Well,
you
for all
never
the
say
years-
what you want.
When Julie was still working, I was buying her jewelry pretty much birthday
Mhm.
and Christmas.
That's always good.
Yeah,
my
a winner. Never clothes. She doesn't wear much perfume, thank God. You know, and shoes, forget about it. That's insane trying to buy shoes for a woman if you're a guy. Don't do that. So I'd buy her jewelry, and she has quite a collection, and she
Yes, our wife
retired, and
does
she's
them.
like, quit buying me jewelry. I'm not going to wear half of what I got anymore. Quit buying it. Don't buy it anymore.
Well, you get to a point where you forget what jewelry you bought too, huh? I do.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit,
And then
yeah.
almost like, yeah.
Oh. I thought he was saying, do our wives listen to the show? Yeah, they listen
Mine
to the
does.
show. Chuck's wife's probably watching, and mine's
Mine
sitting in the
don't.
other room over
I'm,
there.
I'm probably getting in trouble right now.
But that's
Mine
not
doesn't.
that's not the listen that he was asking about. Never
That's
mind.
the
I get it.
monitor.
I get jokes. I get
Yeah.
jokes.
Occasionally.
Yeah, she
So
never
I-
listens to me.
All I've gotten her the last 3 years is a gift certificate to the spa she goes to for her mani-pedi. Okay.
That's
One
always,
stop,
my
I
wife
go in,
does
I
that a
talk
lot,
to the
too.
nice Asian man, I give him money, he gives me a card, I leave, and I'm done Christmas shopping.
I haven't seen Kathy here
Well,
yet.
and
but
Macy,
I'm
but
sure
that's
she is.
easy enough.
If we
Macy's
did this
getting
show
a-
at an
a
hour
VR
later,
this
Kathy would be
year.
here for sure every day.
So we have
What are we doing
chit-chatted.
today?
We have chit-chatted for 14 minutes. I mean, the clubhouse still
she's
got another
here.
30 minutes of
They're
chatting.
jealous.
Well, they haven't
Right.
even brought their guest on yet.
Yeah,
Right.
see, Kathy's here. Good morning,
Right.
Kathy. Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Kathy Thompson, good morning, girl.
With lots of exclamations.
So when we were doing Steve's live stream yesterday, several people were talking about hotspots, and we got into a little bit of a hotspot conversation. And hey, Chris.
We're talking radio, right?
Yeah,
Bringing
we're
in the
talking
coffee.
Oh,
radio,
okay. Not coffee.
not coffee. And then Steve's gotten some comments on videos of his recently, right? Didn't you bring this up in our chat?
Oh yeah.
Several people. And I don't know, as a new ham, I guess it's a lot to take in sometimes.
DMR is hard. I will go on record. I mean, like, we've done it enough that it's easy for us, but it really is legitimately more complicated than it needs to be. So if you're struggling with DMR, that's part of the fun. Like,
Welcome to
it's
being
not
a
you.
ham.
It's not you, it's DMR, really.
If it was easy, they'd let the unhams do this. Just saying.
Well, I keep trying to put it in perspective in some of my videos. I'm like, if you're using DMR in a business environment, they have a person whose 40-hour-a-week job it is to manage code plugs. So the fact that you're having trouble getting it on the first day out of the box in the half hour after you've turned it on, somebody went to school for this, and not necessarily college school, but they got schooled, and it's their 40-hour-a-week job to do nothing but manage code plugs.
Well, and we're not really here to talk about DMR. I'm not here to praise DMR.
I just want to make sure we're not pooping on it,
Or to bury it. That's right. No, we're just talking about hotspots in general and the whole setup kind of thing. I wanted to kind of walk through that a little bit. We've beat up DMR. TO has beat up DMR videos. I have done, I don't know.
We'll
how
beat it up
many.
again.
So has Ape.
I've just stayed away from it because I
And
already have enough
Chuck
other
ain't got
stuff.
nary to do with it. That's right. Chuck is like, I'm out.
I've got enough 2-meter and 70-centimeter stuff that I don't need to add something else to it.
Chuck said he's going to go take his rig expert and play with antennas. Y'all leave me out of this digital mess.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I've made hotspots before. I've done that.
We'll see if Chuck could do it. There you go.
I did a long time ago.
Chuck's got a hotspot he hasn't turned on in probably 3 years.
No, I turned it on one of the shows.
To
remember?
be fair, there's people on the other side of that hotspot.
Right.
I
Right.
think it's right here, actually.
Okay.
Someplace.
So when you're...
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, Chris. Wow. Thank you, man. It's Christmas, people.
Thanks, Chris. Good deal. Oh, here's mine right here. It's old school. They've come a long way since then, right?
I sense a couple of Allstar snobs in here too. Lee and Don are Allstar
Don is.
snobbing.
To be fair,
And
it is better.
And I expect that out of Don. Lee, I'm a little
To be
disappointed
fair.
in you. Anyway,
Disappointedly.
so people were talking yesterday, for example, about buying what's a good hotspot to buy.
Kathy got a membership.
And she
can't
sleeps
let
with
her
the
in.
guy. You know that, right? I mean,
We
she
can't
doesn't
let her
really
Sleeping
need
with
it,
the
but
boss, yeah.
She got all
That's
the
Chuck
bennies.
sleeping with the boss, by the way.
She's got all the bennies, or he's got all the bennies.
Yeah.
He kicked out of his
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah. Chuck's the winner there.
Right. So you can buy a hotspot pre-done.
Chuck, you're supposed to agree whether it's true or not.
I was
She is
agreeing.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
agreeing. I said I can't. complain.
Bridgecom sells pre-made hotspots. Zoom Spot. There's a couple other vendors
Yeah.
that make.
Open spot, your favorite.
I like it. It's not necessarily my favorite. It is cool though. But
So that
It's
means
like
you
the-
do have a favorite.
okay, it's the Open Spot. I'm trying to
knew
make a point here. Hold your water, son. God, it's like playing cards with my
Well,
brother's
Good
kids.
thing Ape's not here because Ape can't hold his water.
So,
Right?
right, that boy can't hold his water more than 30 minutes.
No.
So you can buy a pre-made hotspot. Bridgecom sells a complete package. They'll set it up for you, everything like that. You also pay a premium price for that service from Bridgecom. And there's nothing wrong with the stuff they sell. It's fine. It works great. But with the exception of an open spot, almost all these hotspots are Raspberry Pis. And that includes Bridgecom, that's Zoom Spot, that's everybody. They're all Raspberry Pi hardware. Every stinking one of them that I have ever seen, and I've looked at a ton of them. Now, I'm sure that somebody in the comments right now, one of you warriors, is getting ready to go, well, I found actually this one that's made on a Pico. Okay, go with God. I don't care. Most
or
of
a
them
Nano
are
or
Raspberry
whatever.
Pi hardware.
A Nano Pi or Blueberry Pi.
Yeah, I ran mine on a Rock Pi. Same thing, different day. So,
SSDD.
right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get, let me change cameras here. So you can get the hardware yourself. I'm going to share a monitor too later, and I changed the,
It's not
I
abuse,
changed
Steve. It's
I
love.
changed the resolution on the
Bring it in.
monitor. So now this
Bring it in.
monitor is like huge. Huge. So this is awkward this way, but because the camera's in front of my monitor. So this is a couple of examples of some Raspberry Pi hardware, or some Hotspot hardware rather.
And that's a 3, Raspberry Pi 3B Plus.
That's a custom printed 3D spacer. See, there's 3D printing, Don, right there. So this is like Tio said, this is a 3B Plus. This is not a new Pi by any stretch of the imagination. And this is
Overpowered.
This is the board I'm using for this particular hotspot. This one actually has 2 radios, so you set it up like you set up a repeater. I've got a transmit and a receive frequency. I think I bought it specifically just to play with it. That way you can't tell the difference
So-
in no one.
I was going to say, is there really any benefit to a duplex hotspot?
No. I mean, I suppose, and this is my Fusion hotspot. I suppose if you wanted to get jiggy with DMR time slots, you could set 2 different time slots on this at the same time. But again, why? It's like partitioning a hard drive in DOS. Let me partition my 40 meg hard drive into 220s. Now they're faster. Not really.
It's still the same drive.
You can do it, but it just doesn't really make any difference. So anyway, that's the hardware for this guy. And this one is has been rebuilt a couple of times. And these are on Amazon for about $120. Maybe Tio can pull one up,
Yeah, I can do that.
please, sir, while I struggle with this case, which I should have done before the show.
Yeah, 105 it looks like.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good price. That's about what I paid for one of these when I bought it. This one is, I did a video on this. This has been repurposed from a Pi Zero to a 02W. Originally, this was store-bought from Amazon. I think it was Sane Smart or somebody. And this had a Pi Zero in it. Same board, just a Pi Zero instead of a 02W. And so as Pi Star upgraded and WPSD upgraded, a Pi Zero got kind of hideous. Anyway, same kind of board, and either one of these boards would work with either one of the hardware. Of course, it's not going to fit in that case, but you can use the small board on the large Pi. It mounts on the GPIO and works the same exact way.
So real quick, a trick for that is the small MMDVM hat. If you have a couple of Pis and you don't want to sit through the pain of building out the hotspot, the duration, you can build it on your Pi 3 or Pi 4 or Pi 5, and then you can take the hat and the SD card and move them over to the Pi Zero. And Chip W0CHP has rewritten a lot of the Pi Star dashboard, and it does work on the original Pi Zero. But if you're buying one today, brand new, get the 02W.
Right. And like I said, I upgraded. I had bought 02Ws when you could get them for $15. And so I pulled out the Zero. I think I still have it. It's in a box. It's like my emergency spare backup Pi.
Morning, Wes.
But that's the hardware. So this thing is about, I think these are about $25 now, the 02Ws, $20.
Yeah.
And then the board, and if Steve's got that pulled up on Amazon, we can show that screen real quick.
Yeah, I'll show that screen. So this is the hotspots pre-built around $110 or so, and then this is minus the Raspberry Pi. So if you bring your own Pi and you get everything else for $43, that gives you kind of the deal on the price there. There's a duplex for you at 110. That's using an Orange Pi instead of a Raspberry Pi. Orange Pi sounds really disgusting, by the way. Let's see if we can find just the hotspot DVM board.
Yeah, a hat will
Just the
probably
board.
get you.
Yeah, here we go.
There you go.
So that's most of the cost is the board itself. $36, $31,
Oh yeah.
and some Cyber Monday deals there. $36.71.
Bye.
So
The hardware
awesome.
is cheap. And now I will say that this is a little more. Let me remove the camera again. So it's a little more complicated to set up than buying one pre-made, but it's a hella cheaper. And it just depends on what you want to do. Now, the other thing I want to mention quickly, and we're not going to talk about it a whole lot, is the OpenSpot. OpenSpot is a great product. It is awesome. The user interface is slick. It has some really nice features that, to my knowledge today, WPSD or Pi-Star don't do. One of them I know on the OpenSpot 4 Pro is that it will do D-Star transcoding between like Fusion and DMR to D-Star directly, which WPSD and Pi-Star don't do. So, and if you don't know, Pi-Star is an app that runs on Linux. These boards run Raspbian generally, a distro of Linux.
Raspbian.
And then Pi-Star has its own distro that's based on top of Raspbian, but Pi-Star app.
Make it easy to install, yeah.
Makes it just click, click, go. And we're going to walk through that real quick here in a minute. And the same with WPSD. It's just a different app that runs on a Raspberry Pi based
I'm going to start this one for later so we can talk about it later.
Okay.
Just let Chris know that we've got it. We're on it.
We're on it, Chris. We're on it. So the downside possibly to doing this is you have to do a little bit of work, right? Most of the zeros don't come with the headers on, so oh my God, you've got to solder the headers. It's not hard. You can't use pop soldering iron that's got a blade the size of a screwdriver, but any reasonable soldering iron. T.O.'s shown you. What's your favorite, T.O.? The Pine Seal?
My favorite right now is in fact the Pine Seal. It's a USB powered soldering iron. It does does the stuff. Yeah, I mean, before this it was the Hacko FX888D, and that was a really good soldering iron, but this one does everything, and this is it, and it runs off of USB-C or off of a 5525 barrel jack, which you can.
I use that down in
put power poles on the other end of the cable and use it, ham wise.
I've got a Weller out in the shop, a Weller digital station, and I got that. What is that one that you pointed me at? That JP Marvin $25 special?
Yeah, Marvin
Jones.
P. Jones.
Marvin P. Jones. There it is.
Yeah,
and it works.
It's like $26. Yeah, it does the job. But you can't go to Walmart and get the Weller with the AC plug on the end of it, and that's only like 45 watts. It doesn't have enough rear end, enough arse to get the job done.
Yeah.
Heat one part, wait 20 minutes. Heat second part, wait 20 minutes.
I also have to say,
T.O.
is, I don't have personal knowledge. I don't have a Pine Seal. I went cheap and bought Neko. Piece of crap. It will barely heat up tissue paper. Moist tissue paper is out.
Really?
It just doesn't get hot enough.
The TS101 is good. The one that I did, the USB one from Kaiweets is good. I gave that away on the channel before.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, and I don't know because I don't have the TS101 to play with, but I bet the Pine Seal and the TS101 are the same thing inside. And then you can, because you all know you need this, you can do firmware upgrades on your soldering iron.
Oh. So make sure you put in a change request.
Everything now.
With a backup plan if that firmware upgrade doesn't work.
Two. Yeah.
Right.
Can't zero downtime. 5 nines.
You can do camera lenses now like that. It's like everything you can upgrade,
So once
they
you
made it right the first time, you wouldn't have that.
Yeah, right.
Well,
once you've got your hardware figured out, and there's like you saw, a bunch of options. You can buy one pre-made. You can buy the parts and put it together yourself. Either way, it's the same exact stuff. And somebody said they had a zoom spot. Yeah, this big one that I was showing you guys that runs my Fusion hotspot. I don't know how old this board is, and this thing's been on 24/7 for 4 years at least. Short of power outages or me screwing around with it for some specific reason, but they'll last forever. Marvin, I think, said he bought a Zoom Spot. It's still a Raspberry Pi. They can brand it whatever they want, but they're still using a Raspberry Pi, and they're using Raspbian OS and the same app. And they work great. And again, if you want to buy a package, those are actually reasonably priced. So like T.O. was showing you, you can buy the parts for what was the total price? Maybe $60, $50, something like that. For the parts, and put them together yourself. You can get a Zoom spot or a pre-done hotspot on Amazon, which is the same hardware for about 100. Zoom spots are a little more. I don't know what they run. Bridgecom, the last I looked, those things were like $200 or $300 for the Bridgecom ones. And again, same exact hardware. It's not special. Now, the one difference is some of the commercial ones like Bridgecom and I think Zoom Spot, I'm not sure, have probably better screens. I mean, you can see on this one, that screen is tiny. I don't
You
look
don't
at the
even really
screen.
need the screen.
Yeah, you don't need the screen. The web interface
Jack dressing
is way better. I used to worry about having these oriented so I could always see the screen when they were sitting up here on my desk. And now they're in a dusty corner and I just don't care because they work and I don't need to see the little tiny screen. And through the software, if you're that interested in watching it, you can, WPSD has a beautiful status kind of interface thing. So, you know,
The
it
antennas
works
are
great.
fine because you're not going anywhere.
Trockleys is asking about the antennas. Are the antennas okay? They're fine. They're suitable to task because if you do upgrade the antenna, then you wind up doing something called front end overload on the MMDVM hotspot. These are low power, low wattage, use in your own house, not provide for your own neighborhood type of things.
Right. Now Matt was mentioning using these at a field day
club.
or a club get together or something, but I think if I remember right, these things are about, I don't know, like 10 milliwatts, maybe 20 milliwatts. I don't remember. They're low power. And mine sit literally about 10 or 12 feet away from me.
Yeah.
So the radio is on, my radio, whatever one I'm using is on low power.
Ultra low, as low as you can get it.
As low as you can get it. You don't need to put it, don't jack your Baofeng up to turbo and try and talk to your hotspot because you will probably smoke the MMDVM board. Especially if you upgraded the antennas.
100 watt one, the 100 watt Baofengs.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, like, I mean, I have a 9700 sitting here for D-Star. When I D-Star, I have the volume on the 9700 turned all the way down almost. Because I really don't need to blast 50 watts of VHF at that thing. So they work fine in the house. And the range is, I mean, I have a 80-foot long ranch house. And the hotspot's at one end, and I can sit out on the carport on the other end, smoking a cigarette and talking on the radio, drinking an RC Coca-Cola. So
A Newport.
you get decent enough range on them as they are.
I
So-
hooked mine to my my outside antenna one time and went down the road.
there's-
And you can go quite a ways.
There's always that guy. There's that one guy. I was about to say that, Chuck.
Practicing.
No,
I was practicing.
that's like I teed that up, son. I have seen videos where guys hook up their hotspots to external antennas outside.
But then you're opening it up to anybody that wants to hack in, kind of, right? I mean, if they really knew what was there, nobody
not
around
through
here
the
would know
RF
what
side.
it
They're
is.
not.
No.
Not through the RF side. So what
That's
the hotspot does is it's a gateway. The Raspberry Pi
Drug.
is on your Wi-Fi or wired potentially, and
Weird.
it redistributes your RF through this card. This listens to RF and changes it to voice over IP, skeets it out the internet to Chuck's house, and then he can pick it up and hear it. And it's no different, honestly, than cell phones or your VoIP system at work or whatever. Same kind of stuff. There's different protocols you can use for digital voice. The big three are D-Star, which is ICOM and Kenwood only, generally. Fusion, which is Yaesu only, and DMR, which is every China radio in the world, and Motorola. And
Yeah.
Kenwood also does that, I think.
That's the problem with this whole thing. They should, if they were all the same, I'd be more interested. Say they were all one or the other. Maybe not DMR.
There's a couple of other protocols, NXDN and P25. P25 is huge in public safety. And then NXDN is kind of public safety, business band, ambulances, which is, I guess, public safety. NXDN, P25, and DMR are all cousins. They're very close in the way they're configured and the way they work. Fusion is more like a second cousin, but it's still fairly close. And then D-Star is that weird uncle from your mom's side of the family that nobody's seen until Thanksgiving and doesn't want him at the table. They all work fine, and to my ears, they all sound the same. One of us, I think it was Ape, made the comment about people talk about how this protocol sounds so much better than DMR, or Fusion is better, or D-Star is better.
Yeah, if you don't set your mic up, right?
And the reason it sounds crappy is because you bought a $23 DMR radio off of Amazon Black Friday, or the guy you're talking to, or you have your gain turned up on your mic so far, or you're eating a mic and you're just overmodulating, or someone else is. So they all sound the same. The bandwidth is the same. The companders they're using is there's not enough difference to care. There's also, before somebody says it in the chat, if they didn't, oh, nope, I'm too late. Jason already said it. There's also M17, the protocol that is there, but there's like 20 people in the world that use it. So the guys doing M17 are doing a cool job making a protocol. I mean, that's like RF engineer stuff and very cool. There's only one radio you can commercially buy that does M17. Other than that, you've got to hack something. And at the end of the day, and this is my opinion, take it or leave it, I don't care either way. M17 is a cool project, but it's pointless at this point because there's not enough commercial involvement that it's ever going to matter. And at the end of the day, whether I talk to my buddy Chuck on D-Star, DMR, or Fusion, or M17, it still sounds like Chuck, and we still do the exact same things. The end user does not care about what the protocol is. So all the cool kids want to use M17, rock on. There's nothing wrong with it. It works great. But there's just not commercial hardware availability for it, which is kind of the problem with M17 at this point. Anyway.
It's coming.
Well, go look up Connect Systems, because they're selling an M17 radio, and I want to say that thing is like $250 or $300 for a professionally hacked Chinese DMR radio, if I remember right.
Oh, join their mailing list.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like a OpenGD 77 radio.
Professionally hacked.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes with M17 and you can buy it, and it's expensive.
Well, if you're trying to make it HT yourself, you actually have to whip out the soldering iron.
Oh, yeah. How much is that thing?
Let's see. It's the CS7000, and it's UHF only.
Oh, there's a dual bander. Or is that the only one?
$300.
Yeah. $300 for a repurposed DMR radio. It's not even a high-end DMR radio.
Good deal.
So
like buying those blue Bell things.
Save your money, get a good radio, and then do a hotspot. Not that there's anything wrong with those radios. It's just such a niche market that they don't have any choice but to charge because they can't make any money back on volume.
That's the problem. Right. That is the problem. So you decided you want to build a hotspot. What are the steps you're going to have to do? Well, the biggest thing you're going to have to do is download some software and burn an SD card. So you can get your software from w0chp.radio. This is the WPSD guy. That's his call sign, Chip.
No.
I did this for the people in the...
I know. I'm just before somebody in the chat says it.
I'm sure they will. I knew
they're like vegans.
Was that Cyber Jason that brought up M17 first? I expected that out of one of them. It's not surprising. I see you people. So Chip's site is pretty straightforward, and he has got great instructions on it with how to do all this. Let's download WPSD. Here is the images you can get. This is for all the pies.
Right, Ken?
Doesn't mention the 5, so I don't know about that. I don't have a 5 like Don. I have quit buying pie. There's some stuff vendor specific,
and you'll be welcome
for these that you can buy.
Well,
download images for those.
Did they some other companies come out with it? You probably already said that, but
come out with
something to compete with Pi stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't there other companies out now?
OpenSpot.
Yeah.
That's the only one that has it on different hardware. I mean, short of Orange Pi, Rock Pi, Raspberry Pi, or some similar
Well, I'm
single
talking
board
about the
computer.
actual Pis, the boards. Somebody's come out with boards, haven't they? That compete
The boards
with,
is just an MMDVM board. It's pretty much
Okay.
the same board on all of them. It's the same hardware almost everywhere.
Okay.
The only exception that I'm aware of, Chuck, is the OpenSpots. Because that's
All
all custom and it's one single board that does everything. So, Hank, I don't have a Pi 5, so don't care. Oh, yeah. See, it does say that for 5.
Take that,
Yeah.
Hank.
Take that,
Take
Hank.
that, Hank.
But I don't care. So
doesn't
you're going to
care.
download it? Well, Hank is like, there's the 5. Okay, I don't have one.
Jim's
Once
just
you-
full of vinegar this morning.
Yeah.
Not enough coffee, and I need a new pote. So we've downloaded it. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to get an SD
That's your-
card
Best ever.
Yes.
of some sort. And you can do this on a 16. I kind of like a 32 to have a little breathing room. I would not recommend anything smaller than a 16. We're going to stick that in our SD card reader. And we're going to select the image we just downloaded. And we're going to select our target. We want to make sure that you're burning this to your SD card and not your external hard drive or anything else.
Yeah, and Etcher protects you from overwriting your internal hard drive.
Yeah. Well, it'll warn you if it's I think if it's over 64 gig, Etcher will go, "Whoa, cowboy, that's a fairly large drive. Are you sure you want to do that?" But I know I put in a 32 gig SD card, and there we go.
1 for 1 for 1.
Yep. And then we're going to tell it flash. So that's going to take a minute.
And last
we're
time I
gonna-
checked, an 8 gig card was too small. You want at least 16.
Yeah.
But, good luck trying to buy a 16 for useful money.
Right. So that's going to cook for a minute. The next step
Part
after we
eight's
get this
hard to find,
card
too.
is going to be we want to set this up on our Wi-Fi. And there are 2 ways to do this on your Wi-Fi. There is the hard way and there is the easy way. The hard way, take this card out, stick it in your Pi, boot it up, wait for it to come up in Find Me mode, then go to the web page with your phone or something that's on that completely different Wi-Fi network than your house is, and then do the setup through that. And that takes about 5 or
Type in
10
your
minutes.
Wi-Fi password on your phone. That's not easy.
Right. Are we done? Oh, it's still flat. Okay. So, well, it popped up. A message popped up, and I was like, "What? That's no way. That's
No,
finished."
I'm laughing at Lon's comment. I can't afford to go to North Carolina for 9 baby showers next June because some people lost power during the hurricane.
Good point.
You want a population explosion? Take the power away. Take the electricity
Yeah.
away.
Gotta stay warm some way, right?
I'm bored.
And somebody made a point. Where was it? Scott saying small capacity cards. Yeah. Why would you buy? I don't even know if you could find an 8 gig card, and if you do, you're going to
Well, I
pay
mean,
for it.
Well, definitely an 8 gig card is too small, but an 8 gig card, let's just put stupid numbers on it. 8 gig card is $40. A 32 gig card is $40.
Right.
Buy the 32.
Right. Plus, which you essentially won't have to worry about fiddling with logs or anything else filling up space on it. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's burning. The next step we're going to do is we're going to set up our Wi-Fi. I mentioned the hard way. The easy way, if you go to Chip's website, let me pull that screen back
There's
up.
always one, Hank.
What's he saying?
He
Hank.
he runs WPSD on 8 gig cards. He's also a vegan crossfitting firefighter. I've seen it. Yes, it can be done, but it shouldn't be done, Hank. That's the point we're trying to make. Like, don't stress out about it. Just go get the card.
Right. And the beauty of
Party's
buying SD cards these days, used to you had to order them from like Insight or CDW or something and wait a week. Now you can go to Target or Walmart and pick up
Walmart,
SD
yeah.
cards.
And they got the good ones at Walmart too.
Yeah, we're not talking,
SanDisk, yeah.
Billy Bob's SD cards. We're talking SanDisk or whoever.
Well, I mean, even the right speed, because you don't need a special card for Pi-Star, but
Right.
if you're doing camera stuff, you need a certain class of card,
Class
certain high
10,
speed, et
yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So
Look at Don. All I can get is 128, and they don't work.
Well, it's a good thing Don doesn't use Pis.
Don doesn't use
use
Pis.
So I don't know what he's even complaining
That's right.
for.
Yeah, what are you complaining about, Don?
It's Don. It's a day ending in Y.
that's right.
He's gonna
Right?
complain. We love you, Don.
It's anonymous.
We do.
It's
I forgot,
anonymous
Don,
with
sorry.
complaining.
So while that's cooking, we want to set up our Wi-Fi stuff so that we don't
Keep
have to
saying
do
this
it
like
the
you're
hard
going
way.
somewhere.
Well, I
with
keep
this.
trying to, but I keep getting sidetracked by other things.
Don't go back to the beginning though. Start off at the next part.
So we've got that down. This part right here is gold. The Wi-Fi config
file generator. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to click that.
So Jim, it will not star your password.
I was wondering. We're not actually going to boot this card. This is like a cooking show. I'm going to show you how to make the pie, and then I'm going to pull out a complete one out of the oven.
Right.
So when you need to set this up, this will save you from doing it the long, complicated, pain in the butt way through WPSD or Pi-Star. They both do it the same exact way. So put in your Wi-Fi SSD, put in your password.
So real quick, Don's saying that is dumb, and I bet that Chip did this because the number of people that complained to him that this is ham radio and you can't encrypt things. This is not ham radio. This is Wi-Fi passphrases. You can encrypt this. It's okay.
Yes.
But hams like to get on their soapbox and talk about things they don't know what they're talking about. Like,
exactly right.
This show.
So we're going to tell it United States. There's our operating system. We're going to say generate config. Now, you can download this to your local computer, which in my case is Windows. So we're going to go ahead and download that. And we'll see if our flash is done. We are done flashing. Woo.
Go flash.
Wow.
So now we want to bring
a
up
fast computer.
Kevin, this is why we did this show after Thanksgiving, is so you can be reminded over and over again that there's pie in the fridge.
Right.
So what I do is I
man,
just
I
save it
didn't
from the
have any.
browser right to the SD card.
That's what yeah. Well, yeah, I could do that. So when you open up Windows Explorer, you're going to have a drive called boot now in your list. And mine's L, yours may be E, F, Q, whatever. Doesn't matter, it'll say boot. And we want to put that file we just downloaded into this folder. So that file is in my downloads folders where I got mine. Yours may be there, yours may not be there. And there is
Eric,
the
you're
file.
right.
Now, I've already done this file before, so this one's actually named something completely different. It added a 1 on. So I apparently have more than one WPA supplicant over here. And let me get rid of that. There it is. You won't have more than one. Yours will be called WPA supplicant. The file has to be called that. That's what Chip's download is going to call it automatically. You don't have to do any of the stuff I just did. We want to get that file out of wherever you downloaded it to. We're going to drag it and drop it onto our SD card. We're done with the SD card. Go into Windows and tell it to eject your SD card. And we're done. We can pop out our SD card at this point and stick this in our Raspberry Pi and boot it up. And it is set to go on our Wi-Fi. So pretty straightforward there. Now, let me get rid of that. Stop. Here, this one. Green, tab, share. Share.
Look at that.
Steve, is that big enough to see? Do I need to plus
Not
that
on my
up?
screen.
Chuck, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not bad.
I'm running less than HD.
Okay.
Mm.
Abe's not here to tell me to plus it up. I'll just plus
See
it
you
up
again.
in his honor, since he's not
There
here.
you go.
Still too small.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Well, let me see. On a regular screen, it's pretty good
Yeah.
size wise. I'm looking on the StreamYard one. It's
So
kind of
The
small.
This
StreamYard
is-
Studio is already shrunk down, and my screen is
Yeah.
not 1080.
It's not,
So-
it's not bad on the regular one.
When you boot up your WPSD or your Pi-Star by default and you want to go do admin stuff, the password is Pi. The user ID is Pi-Star and the password is Raspberry. This is one I already have set up, so I changed the password, but it will be Pi-Star and Raspberry. And I'm not going to walk through. I could, I guess. I'd have to plug the other one in, the whole basic setup. But now you're in the software. So now it's a matter of which protocol do you want to use. And you're going to go into admin, which will bring you to this screen. And again, I'm using WPSD. Pi-Star is similar. I like the interface on WPSD better. It also has some diagnostic stuff that's a little better than Pi-Star's. The last time I looked at Pi-Star, which has been a year or so. So I don't know, your mileage may vary.
The guy
If
that
you're
made
running-
Pi-Star did a fantastic job, and that's the foundation of this. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the next evolution.
Yeah. And T.O. nailed it. It's an evolution, not a revolution on this. It is. Excuse me, I needed to liquefy. So you can get hydrate, right? Coffee is real hydration, not Gatorade.
Mm.
So you can get statistics about your system, your file sizes in use, your file system memory, what Wi-Fi or Ethernet connector you may or may not be using, version of Linux, stats on versions and time and yada, 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 yada. Whole bunch of tech details there. This is the main dashboard of WPSD here. This is my D-Star one. So this shows calls that have been received on this and when they were received or transmitted. I was talking about the screen, and T.O. found this before I did. I remember him when we discovered this, and T.O.'s the one that discovered this live caller thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
There's your dashboard, because that's basically all that's on the screen of that little tiny hotspot screen is this. And this will stay up now. So the last person that keyed into was apparently my D-Star radio, or my hotspot, actually. And as anybody keys up, that's going to change. And this, of course, is dependent on whatever reflector you're connected to. So if you want a status screen up, there you go. And then we can just close this out and go back to our main dashboard. And if we go to our admin, which is what you would typically do when you first get into this, you're going to go to configuration. And then what you're going to do is you can give it a host name, because out of the box, it's going to be called Pi-Star, I think. Your call sign, your DMR ID, an NXDN ID if you have one. Whether it's simplex or duplex, unless you have a hotspot with 2 antennas, it's a simplex. What frequency? Be wary of this, and I think WPSD does it as well. I know that Pi-Star does. So this one's running UHF. You want to make sure that you're not using a local repeater frequency or a satellite frequency. And Pi-Star software will flash this box red if it's a frequency you shouldn't be using for this thing. You
Show
have
us.
to.
I never saw that.
Okay.
I'm not arguing with you. I just want to see it.
Let me think.
555.
Show us.
There you go. See, that one's good.
Now,
I saw red
know
there for a second.
that's a local repeater frequency, though. Pi-Star
Yeah.
wouldn't know my local repeater frequencies.
I do like 555.
Well, yeah,
Out of band.
out of band. And I think somebody pull up a SAT frequency and we'll see. I'm almost positive it would do it for SAT frequencies, because they have a very narrow range they use, I think. So I can't see any of the chat right now, T.O. I've got this up full screen, so if anybody comes up with one, we'll try it. So
438-ish.
Yeah, 438, 435.
Nope.
So it's just in band or out of band. So if you
I
type in
guess.
555.400, get the full frequency in there. Because is it just complaining that you don't have? Yeah, see, that's out of band. Okay, cool. So it's in
Mhm.
band only.
Well, let's try a little less out of band.
Agreed
453.
upon reservations.
453,
But that's a good idea.
25. Yeah. See, there's the fire department frequency, and it's not going to let me do that.
Because it's out of the ham band.
Out of
450.
ham band. I thought it did the satellites because I remembered keying in a frequency originally that was in the ham band, but was a sat frequency for a downlink or an uplink, one of the two. And
What is that frequency for your fire department?
453, 7625. That's the repeater.
Okay.
That's our UHF frequency. We're also on P25, so that's going to be 850 something, 856 and change. So anyway, this screen is where you're going to set your frequency, simplex, duplex, your modem. When you buy the parts, it should say somewhere what kind of hat it is when you buy it. And you need to know that. There are a bunch of hats. So there's an exhaustive list. I have a little inside trick on this one. It requires you to use the command line, but it's also a helpful thing to know.
I don't know why they don't put that in the web interface. They really
right?
should.
I know. The find modem command absolutely should be in the web interface. Chip, looking at you, buddy. You could be a hero.
Is he here?
I don't know. I'm hoping he watches.
Oh, he's watching.
I'm sure.
Chip is everywhere.
Chip is everywhere.
Chip's awesome.
Anyway, so you got your basic setup, your location info, and you can put in all this if you want. And APRS information if you want to do that. But now you're into the gravy part here. What mode do you want to use? And out of the box, D-Star, all these modes. I'm not going to read all that. It will do all of these. It will also cross mode, which is kind of cool. And I suppose there's some use cases for that. I played with it and it works fine, and this is so you can use your YSF radio to talk into a DMR talk group. You can use your YSF radio to talk into an XDN or P25 talk groups. And you can use your DMR radio to talk into YSF or NXDN. If one of you asks why doesn't it all go the other way, I don't know. Probably because of the codecs that are used. I'm not really
Somebody
sure.
got to write it. It's open source. Jump in and help.
Right. That's right. Chip would love your help. One thing that the OpenSpot does,
I can't do it either,
that this doesn't do is the OpenSpot 4 Pro will cross mode D-Star. And you'll notice there is no D-Star in here at all, one way or the other. So that is one piece that the OpenSpot 4 does that Pi-Star and WPSD don't do. And I don't know about any of the other commercial hotspots that are built on top of Raspberry Pis with Pi-Star. I have no idea, but I've never seen it anywhere except in the OpenSpot 4 Pro. The 4 does not do it. The 4 Pro does. You can set your screen type, whether you want it on all the time. This is one that I've seen a lot of questions in chat groups about. Hey, my screen is upside down when I set this thing up. Right there. Rotate, and that'll fix it. Then this is D-Star specific information here. Any kind of access control if you want to tighten it up. PNP. All this stuff can pretty much be left as default or not. Most of it does not matter for home use at all. And you can say, well, security, I need to set it private. Well, if you're behind a natted firewall, which you are, your router, it doesn't matter what you set it at. No one's going to use it. I mean, I live out in the county, so no one is literally using my hotspot except me. If you're in an urban area, you probably want some of that turned on. But
So there's hotspot privacy in terms of Wi-Fi, and then there's also in terms of other DMR users being able to DMR through your hotspot.
Right, right. And some of that is specific also to the hotspots you're using. I'd probably recommend you turn off UPnP. There's really no reason for you to have that on. I must have been testing something that I have turned on here. Dashboard access, again, you're behind your router, so it's private already. Unless you open up your router to point at your hotspot, you could set this to public, it doesn't matter. And that just depends on what you want to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't need it. And you don't need to worry about this. Just leave it all at like it is. Because I think the defaults are pretty reasonable, if I remember right. And then after you've made all your changes, of course, you're going to apply changes, and it'll churn and reboot into hopefully a working hotspot. You have a few other things you can do here. If you get completely bumfuzzled, you can, of course, reset it. You have backup and restore. Highly recommend this. Once you get everything working, it downloads a zipped config file, save it somewhere, remember what it is and where it is, and you can reload it by clicking that button without having to go through all the config again. You can update WPSD by clicking a button, and it will go out and check if you have the current version of all the data files and the binary files and do its thing. And it will sit there and churn and tell you. We're kind of stuck until that gets done. I probably shouldn't have clicked it. This is also doing some log management too, if I remember right. And we're done with that. And it takes us back to our dashboard. You can change the view here on the dashboard. This, of course, shows us our status and ports and speeds and feeds. And we can change that to the simple view. And it gets rid of some of that information and cleans up the dashboard a little bit and gets rid of all of the computer-related technical info and just shows you that. We can turn that back on with radio info. And then we'll go back to admin real quick. And I'm not going to go through all these options in admin. I do want to mention a couple. You can look at live logs. You can change the appearance, the colors, the background, all of that. If you go into configuration, oh, that's not what I wanted. Brain fart. Go into advanced. Now, you have this big warning. You can break stuff in here. Nothing that you can't redo, though. This is what T.O. and I were talking about. If you go into the command line, and I know this might freak some people out, and you're going to log in as pi-star with your password, and you'll get your login prompt, and you can type sudo WPSD tab, and there's all the commands that are part of the WPSD suite if you forget it. And the one we're looking for is it find modem? No, he calls it something different. Detect modem. Detect modem. And it will tell us what kind of hardware we have in the machine. And so it's told me what port it's on, what speed it's at, what firmware version is on it, and the TXCO frequency, if it's relevant for this particular hardware, and which one it is. So I can take that information, grab a screenshot of that, then I can go back to that modem setup page if I don't know what my modem is, for example.
So which one does it say that you have to point that out?
Right here, where it says modem data. MMDVM HS hat. The name will be first. This is what you're going to see in the modem list. And you also want to pay attention. This is all the name, everything up to here. But we need the TXCO frequency because there may or may not be two different oscillator frequencies that these things use. So mine says I have an MMDVM HS hat, and it's the 14.7 yada yada frequency thing. So we'll jump out of that. And if we go back to our configuration, and you can see that I already had it set on this particular hotspot, but there it is. And for that one, it's not mentioned in a different TXCO frequency, so that's apparently the only one this one uses. And it's already on TTY AMA 0, which is the only port I got. And typically, there's no need to change this. It's going to find that automatically, but you will probably have to set your modem hat. But you just need to remember that. Go to Advanced SSH, log in with Pi-Star Raspberry if it's your initial setup, and then do sudo WPSD-detect modem, and it'll tell you which one you got. So I think that is the highlights of setting up a hotspot. We could go more in depth into the different protocols. D-Star, I think, is probably fairly complicated. DMR is also fairly complicated. Fusion is stupid easy to set up on these things. And honestly, the hard part with DMR or D-Star is not necessarily the hotspot side, but the radio configuration side. I think the hotspot side is easy regardless of what you're doing. And with these, you can access a whole ton of digital rooms all across the country and the world, whether it's DMR, Fusion, or D-Star, or NXDN, or P25, or M17, at least 20 or 30 rooms in M17. There's not as many by far, but there are talk groups there. D-Star calls them reflectors. Yaesu calls them rooms, I think. DMR refers to them as talk groups. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
A reflector is a talk group, is a room. It's just a specific electronic group of folks. You know, there's the Zombie Alert channel. There's Toads. We have our own reflectors.
There's the Hurricane WatchNet.
Hurricane WatchNet.
Which will only work if you have DMR, a radio, electricity, and internet, by the way.
And internet,
So
right, which is kind
really,
of
it's
pointless.
more people outside of the hurricane area talking about the hurricane area.
Right. There are some talk groups that are very busy and some that are nothing but dead air. America Link is nonstop chatting.
Yammering.
A lot of
Yeah,
it.
you can't get out of the damn thing once you get in.
It's
there.
hard to get out. Well, there's ways to do that anyway, but
Yeah, there is, but
There's a feature in the dashboard for it now, too.
yes, you can
Oh,
kill
is
them
there?
from the dashboard. Yep.
all I know is I got in there one day and I couldn't get out.
I'm trapped and I've
How
fallen
do
and I
leave
can't
this?
get up. Only I've fallen in a
I'll-
digital hole.
Yep. I
So-
will leave.
That will get you going on a hotspot. Now, to address the elephant in the room, you need to have a digital radio. You cannot use your Baofeng UV5R, will not work with a
So there.
digital hotspot. You need a digital radio. So a Yaesu FT 70,
70
3D,
is probably the
5D.
cheapest one.
Yeah. And 70 is a great little radio. ICOM, the 50, 51, 52, whatever it is this week, there's several of them. There's probably still some ID 31s floating around, which work fine if you can find them on eBay.
Yeah, D-Star hasn't been updated, but the radios have.
Right. Kenwood, you're looking at a D74, D75. Well, I'm talking HTs. And then for DMR,
Everything.
how much do you want to spend on a probably a Chinese radio? I like
And
the
then-
BTEC 6X2 line. There's a 6X2
6X2.
Pro now. I don't have it. I have
approved.
the original 6X2. I don't feel any need to buy another one. It works great.
The only reason you'd need to go from the 6X2 to the 6X2 Pro really is to get added contacts, but I don't
Added
download
contacts.
the entire contact list anyway.
Right. Yeah, I haven't done that forever.
Because you can still talk to people if they're not in your contact list. That's okay. You just
Yeah,
won't
it just
see their
won't.
name.
It
You'll
won't
see
show
the
their
number.
name. Right. I download the United States and NATO. All of NATO. And the Aussies.
Including France.
including France. Motorola,
Even
somebody
France.
mentioned Motorola. Motorolas do DMR. They call it Moto Turbo.
Motorola invented it.
Yeah.
Motorola invented DMR.
Yep.
They call it Moto Turbo or something like
Without
that.
it, yeah, without a U. Moto Turbo.
TRBO.
And you need to know somebody like Hamstick Eric, right, to be able to program the damn thing.
No, it's just
Or
DMR.
Shane.
The radios. Right?
Finding the software for Motorola is the
Yeah.
problem.
That's what I mean. Or expensive.
Yeah.
So we
The
got a couple
software
of
is
questions that were
stupid.
teed up. Do you want to do them now?
Yeah, let's get those.
Because this is one that I wanted to talk about. I knew it was going to take a while to do this. I've got my MMDVM board coming today. I don't have a DMR radio. Will this work with traditional radios? No, it will not.
Negative, Batman.
And the reason why is because the hotspot doesn't enable radio communications. The hotspot takes your DMR radio and pipes it through the internet to talk to people on talk groups online. If you have two DMR radios in your hands, this is the GD88 and this is the D168. If you have these two radios, they will talk simplex radio to radio without a hotspot at all. They will do traditional RF, and a lot of people don't know that. They're just opinionated, not informed. The hotspot will get you to talk through the internet into a talk group of other like-minded individuals. So like if you happen to like doing ATV rides, you can get into the ATV group. If you like talking to
That's a good
satellites,
show
you can talk to
idea
people
we
who
need
are
to
satellites.
explore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
So
great
you can
plan.
jump into those groups and talk about UTVs in the UTV group or
Which one of those
RVs in the
groups?
RV group. But you can't do that on simplex because there isn't any simplex. Also, you can't talk to your DMR repeater in your local area on DMR mode on an analog radio. So if you want to do analog, that's another question that came up. Use Allstar instead. If you want to use an analog radio and talk to rooms online through the internet. And why would you want to do that? Because you're in an HOA, you can't put up an HF antenna. You're a slightly older gentleman and can't they won't let you do things in your nursing home. DMR radios are a hit in nursing homes, really.
Yeah. So let's talk about Allstar.
Let's talk about Allstar.
Well, not
Freddie's
much.
been waiting.
Is Freddie here? Because I
here.
really haven't been keeping up with the chat. Fredward, I love you, man. So if I poop on Allstar, it's not you, buddy. It's me.
Could I say something real quick?
What?
Kind of on this line. I was watching American Pie last night, and they're on the FRS radios, and there's two girls that may have liked each other, maybe not, but they're like broadcasting this stuff everywhere on FRS, and of course it went for miles there, but in real life it wouldn't. But it was just funny. I just want to say that. I just want to share it. Funny movie.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
Cool
Jim.
story.
Go. You had to be
Okay.
there, I guess.
I've seen
Back
the
to
movie.
Allstar.
I mean, it's like, 20 years
It
old,
was-
I think.
I know, but it was just on. It was
Stifler's
the
mom
Christmas
is probably
shows,
dead by now.
She didn't look too bad then.
No. So
All right, out of the locker room, back to the
out of the locker room,
DMR.
boys. This is the morning show. This is not noir. So Allstar is similar but different than using a hotspot. With Allstar, you still need a Pi or some kind of hotspot hardware.
Oh my gosh.
It works differently in that it is not doing digital to analog and back.
See, it looks the same.
Put my pie back.
It does, and mostly it's using a Pi. I have an Allstar node sitting right over here next to the Pis, next to the digital Pis, and Allstar and the Pis are like hanging out, smoking a fatty, drinking a cold one, all together, and it's fine. Allstar works with analog radios, and it basically does the same function. It's just without the digital radio. It takes analog RF off of your radio and digitizes it and squirts it over the internet to a node or nodes or group of nodes over the internet. Same thing, different day. It really is. So that's the difference. You can use your UV5R. Your cheapest radio will work with an Allstar node. I mean, the $14
Allstar.
Black Friday Amazon China specials will absolutely work with Allstar. You have to have an
Allstar
Allstar
is
node set
greater.
up. Huh?
All-Star's greater than.
No, I don't think so, because setting up an Allstar node is a fair amount more complicated.
It's a little
than
difficult. They're
Yeah.
making it easier. ASL3 is a lot better now.
Yeah, ASL3 is a huge step forward. But I mean, Freddie Mac has done a ton of videos on Allstar, so you can see all the setup and everything else. Freddie is way, way more into Allstar than I am, and he's done a lot of great work on it. So I recommend you go watch his videos if you're interested. But the biggest difference, it's still voice over IP at the end of the day, and the difference is which radio you use to get out over the internet to the other side. You can use your UV5Rs in simplex local, like Tio was just talking about, if you're on a overlanding trip or something. You can use your DMR radios simplex in DMR mode, overlanding, just fine without the internet. All that.
This is
crap
how you
works
know
the
this
same
isn't
way.
true, by the way. If
Yeah.
Grumpy Don is recommending it, then yeah.
Yeah. And Allstar 3 is not easier set up than a Pi-Star. Not even in the neighborhood. And I've set up a bunch of both.
And the Hermes
At least
Lite
two.
is plug and play. It says Don. It's not.
Okay, I didn't really know where that comment was going. Now I got you. Don said it was plug and play, and you said it was
Look.
not.
Look, now Don's arguing with himself.
Yes, it is. Oh, I was glad Don was around.
So they
when I
do-
put my
They
my
do kind of the same
Hermes Lite
thing.
in.
In some ways, Allstar is better, and in some ways, it's not.
Mm.
The cool
It
thing
seems
about
better.
Allstar is it's a self-healing, self-configuring voice over IP network kind of thing. It's actually based on the Asterisk PBX phone system that's been around for 25 or 30 years.
Mm.
I had an Asterisk server set up in my dining room at one time playing with it. And my wife said, no, we're not going to put these stupid phones in our house. Get a real phone. That was 30 years ago, though, so she can be forgiven now. But it's
She
based
hasn't
on...
forgiven you yet.
No, she could be forgiven, but I'm still not. But baby, we can put these cool Cisco phones everywhere. And look, we've got an intercom now, so you don't have to yell at me from the front of the house to the back of the house. Nothing's
So
changed.
Jody's got an interesting question. Doesn't the decision tree start with what radio do you have, followed by how much money
True.
do you want to spend? When people ask me this question, I say, what is your local repeater running? And what radios are they using? Because you really do want a network. These radios only go 7.5 miles. And how many friends do you have that are ham radio operators in 7.5 miles from your house, clear line of sight? So you need the repeater or you need the hotspot. But if you don't have an HT at all, start with the one that your local repeater has as its mode. If your local repeater is FM only, anyone is good.
Yep.
Have fun. If your local repeater is DMR, don't get a fusion radio first.
Right.
I have to say first because I know you're going to get one anyway.
I mean, I like Allstar. I have Allstar. I have two nodes. I have a mobile node in my truck, and I have a fixed one here. I've also got one each DMR, D-Star, and Fusion hotspot. And I don't talk on any of the four hardly at all because people are on the other end, and they
Bingo.
annoy me mostly.
This is Don's
So-
bingo slot.
So anyway, use whichever one. This was not to preach how to love WPSD more than Allstar, or that Allstar is better than WPSD, or vice versa. I don't give a crap which one you think is better. This was about Pi-Star / WPSD. There we go. I'm not answering that, whichever one of you turkeys
really
that
does.
is. Let's see if it tells me.
It should. It's James.
It's Scott. K0WAV, Colin.
Ham till it hurts.
Right, and James Cook, that's right. You can also get Ham Shack Hotline and then talk
We can
worldwide.
just skip all this RF stuff and just go back to wired
Right.
communications, right?
Right. Jody said, let's get both hats working on one Pi. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. You'd have to have a Pi with enough GPIO access, but you have to use some kind of weird header board thing.
Well, you've got that one that's USB connected.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, my old one that's burned itself up, low-end Chinese one. And the one that's running now is the one Freddie Mac pointed out to me, and I can never remember the name of the website. So if Freddie's in the chat, he should mention that. Man, I cannot think of
Acoustic couplers,
twowayradios.com or
Jeff.
something.
Buy two-way radios.
No, that's not it. Man, I can't think of who makes that thing. But it's USB, yeah. So it's potentially I could plug it into a Raspberry Pi with an MMDVM header, and I could do all the things in one Pi. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. That'd probably, I don't know how much that would bog down the Pi I/O wise. The other thing I didn't talk about it much. I want to touch on it real quick because it's time to get out of here. If you're into pagers, Pi-Star and WPSD do POC/SAG decoding. I saw somebody mention that in the chat. Right, Ryan? I mean, I've got my pager from my alternative employment back in the 90s. Still, it's in a sock drawer, I think, somewhere.
Next to his drugs.
Huh?
That was his alternative employment, Chuck.
I know.
I
didn't know if everybody caught that.
Yeah, I figured they might. I kid.
I'm leaving.
Kathy's out. She said later,
Kathy's-
old man.
She's leaving.
Tell
man.
her to stick her
Hang
head
on.
in here so we can wave at her.
Kathy, say hi. They want you to say
What?
hi.
Stick her face.
That was just your hand.
Well,
I know it was just her hand.
hello. Hi, guys.
Hi.
I
Hi.
don't know where to go. Going to make
She's way
cookies.
smarter
Oh.
than Chuck and way
Oh, that's
nicer.
today?
Yep.
Oh, they're going to go
She
make
can't
cookies.
be smarter than Chuck. She married him.
Well, there was that one moment of weakness, probably alcohol fueled, I would imagine.
That's why Chuck
No,
always keeps
no.
a bottle on hand.
That's right. He got her drunk so he could get her married to him. So you can do POC/SAG pager decoding if you're into that. I don't see the point, but you can.
Well, you
do
can.
it.
You don't see
It's
the
like
point.
running a scanner against your local hospital.
Right. And I had another thing I was going to mention. I can't remember now what it was. Never mind. Wasn't important. But there's some options, and that's how you do it. The questions we had seen the last 3 days was, I can't figure out how to get Pi-Star set up, or I don't know how to build a hotspot or whatever. So that's what this was about. There are benefits to both. There are detractions from both. It's like Jody was talking about, what's your budget? If you want to use your UV5R, you're going to be putting together an Allstar node. If you want to do digital, there you go.
Hotspot Radios is the site that has the USB Allstar. Thanks, Tim.
That's it. I believe that's it. Tim, thank you. I can never remember it. Freddie Mac put me onto them. They sell a bunch of really excellent gear that is Allstar oriented. And that's the one I got. I didn't unplug the Allstar node. I could go get it if we wanted. But
Ken's asking a good question. How many new hams do we have here in the chat? And speaking of new hams, we're going to start a Toads testing session monthly. So there is a section on the Discord, which is linked at the top of the chat over there. And we're just starting this. We talked about it yesterday on the Black Friday stream. And so now we're making it happen. The wheels are in motion.
did we get any other questions? Does that cover all the questions we had?
That was all the questions.
Okay.
It was all the questions we didn't already cover.
Okay.
Hey, Riley.
Chris Robinson
says
said he
hello.
is a new. Is everyone in this chat named Chris? How many
Yes.
Chris's do we have? We have like a Chris army. Awesome,
It's
Chris.
like Dons are for a long time. Dons are everywhere.
Yeah, not anymore. There's only one. Just Grumpy Don. I haven't seen. Well, Digidio's in here every so often. He's not regular.
Yeah.
regular. And then, and Izzo shows up randomly when he's not working. All right. Well, guys, unless y'all have any more questions, I'm going to hit the button. Don't forget, antennas are on sale, $10 off of every one until tonight at midnight. So if you've been thinking about any of our antenna kits,
Or we sell out. Or we sell
We ain't
out.
Happy
gonna sell-
Thanksgiving, Michael.
Chuck,
Oh,
we
did
made
you
Chuck
up it?
work yesterday. He was still getting over the brown liquor hangover. We said, chip chop, Charlie. We need kits.
I only
Congrats.
had one brown
Glad you
liquor.
made it.
Only had
Very
one
strong.
bottle.
It was the whole bottle. Yeah,
Right.
it was the
All
whole
right.
store.
Depends on how you count one, right?
Right?
Thanks, y'all. I'm hitting the button.
Later,
Appreciate it,
everybody.
guys. If I can find my mouse. Boy, this is awkward. Where'd the mouse go?
Where's his mouse?
Marinade.